PK52, the Saturday morning meeting. So let's do phase 2 of sales line 1. As previously said last week, that was the call that you used to hear in the dealership all the time. Sales line 1, and if you were unencumbered with a customer, you ran for the phone because you knew that was an opportunity. But the big question was, if there was a live customer there or a phone pop, which way would you go? And the majority of people back in, let's say, the 90s and early 2000s absolutely go to the live customer and not the phone. I'm going to analyze that and analyze an appointment versus somebody that has just come from 2 or 3 other dealerships, just shopping around, hasn't made an appointment and just showed up at the dealership. And then everybody needs to make their own decision on which way that's going to be the best for them to move their financial future. But let's talk a little bit, because I'm not only talking about actually live phone calls, I'm also talking about people that chat or people that you get a chance to digitally respond to. So in phase 1, we talked about a continuation, an agreement to continue. I think we pressure people that call in on the phone to make an appointment. I'm more pressure for them to make an appointment to come buy a car than somebody that's actually at the dealership, which I always thought was really crazy, because the person calling on the phone is obviously out for information. I want to be the person that supplies that information. By withholding information from somebody, it really doesn't make them speed their way to the dealership. So full disclosure, that's kind of where we are now. I like that. I have nothing to hold back. I've got my prices online and they've seen the price. We're good. And so the most important thing is an agreement to continue. Once we end the conversation, either on the phone or digitally, that there's going to be some other stuff coming out. For example, on the Toyota side, just do me a favor, jump onto my Facebook page, KC Nix, Facebook, just KC Nix, KCNIX. And over the last week, Toyota has, what a massive media dump. I mean, J.D. Power VDS, Lexus number 1, Toyota number 2, and then Highlander was picked number 1, Corolla Hybrid was picked number 1, Camry Hybrid was best pick. I mean, just amazing, just one right after another saying that the Toyota product is the product to have both now and in the future to drive a long time or get a higher resale value. So I need to offer that information to a consumer that probably hasn't seen that. Why would they? I mean, they're looking online. Maybe they have somebody did a walk around on the car, one of the outside influencers, but nobody's forwarded them J.D. Power or Consumer Reports. Toyota just smoked Consumer Reports. And so with an agreement to continue, I now can show them that I have studied the industry. I am protecting their investment. And the most important thing is I want to continue to have a long-term business relationship. I don't want to sell them one car. I want to sell them every single car they buy from now on. So let's go back. And I did a word track last week. Sales information. Sales is a place they look for. Information is what they call for. I love those two words together. But you really need to make your own. When it feels comfortable to you, where it's a conversation and not a script. Oh man, can't even imagine. Have you had a phone call before where you knew somebody was going, "Hi, ma'am or sir," because they're reading directly off a script? That's horrible. So look at the words, look at the process, build it yourself and own it. You should be so good with the words you say that if the customer interrupts your flow and says, "I'm buying this car for my mom," that you can shut down and go, "Dude, tell me a little bit about your mom. Would you please start with your mom's driving currently what, and what are you looking for? What's most important for that purchase for your mom and for you for your mom?" And have a conversation. If it's a 15-minute conversation about the mom, that's fine. And then you pick back up, spelling of your last name and your first, so we both have the same information. Could you grab a pen or a pencil and something to write on? Because I'd like you to write some stuff down. And I came on and said, the first thing I'm going to say is, if you'll do me a favor, write down KC, just initials KC, I'll be taking care of you. So now they've got my name. And then write down the name of the dealership, ABC Toyota. Again, we talked last week about somebody showing up at another dealership asking for a salesperson that you knew worked at the competitive Toyota store. They'd called so many Toyota stores, they really thought they were going to the place that they wanted to meet this salesperson, and they end up in the wrong place, and probably with a car. So the last thing is I ask them, sales information, this is Casey, what vehicle have you selected? I always like to throw it out there. Your question is either going to get a selected vehicle or I haven't made a decision yet. Either way is fine with me. I can go. Every salesperson can go, well, what's most important? You said you hadn't selected a vehicle. What's going to be most important to you? And they go, well, we're thinking about an SUV. Fantastic. We've got several size of SUV. And now you just start having a conversation with them. Casey, I've selected a Camry. I make them write down Camry. So on that paper, we said last week, it's not my name, the name of the dealership in the car. It's what they're going to buy, where they're going to buy it, who they're going to buy it from. To me, that's where I put my process down because I want to end the conversation digitally or on the phone with them with the information they need to move forward. And any kind of information, what I could text or email them, J.D. Power, Consumer Reports, or anything out there, or if they have a comparison. Are you looking at any other vehicles? I'm also looking at Ford Bronco, looking at Honda Accord. Then I'll send them some information on that also. So I want to be the person that provides them more information than what they were requesting. And I want to make sure that I shined out of the other 4 or 5 calls or the 4 or 5 other digital interviews. You understand, in today's market, you're not the only dealership they're looking at, and you may not be the only brand. So let's talk about the second half of Sales Line 1. I've got them on the phone, and they're continuing to talk. We're having a good conversation. I'm answering their questions, and I ask them, will you be coming from home or work, and where's that located? If it's home, then it gives me an idea of their income level. I mean, everybody can pull a zip code and you can see what areas are out there. And if they're coming from work, then it lets me know that there's a possibility I might be able to go show the car at their office. That is one of the key things that helped me when I first started out is instead of showing the vehicle to one person and maybe a spouse, I'm showing the vehicle to everybody they work with because everybody comes outside. You got a brand new vehicle outside, everybody's going to come look, especially a vehicle like a Crown or the new Tacoma or the new Tundra, something they've never seen before. These people have never been in a Tundra, so I've got a Tundra there. They can all climb through it. It's fine. So it gives me the opportunity to be more than just somebody waiting on the sidewalk for them to show up. So after I found out where they're, who they are and where they're coming from and what their intentions are, I can send them some information. But I've got their name. And discard this if you don't like it. But one of the things I was taught early on by some of the best people in the car business was if you can ever build a relationship, if they ever get comfortable with you, if it becomes conversational and not salesperson customer, then you are so much closer to selling them a car or more than one car because now they feel comfortable in your environment. And let's be honest, if they show up in the dealership, they're in your environment. So what you want to do is you want to raise the comfort level. So what I would try to do is find out a little bit of background, if they had kids and if they were going to put a child seat in the car. And people love to talk about their kids. They play sports. What do they do? Oh, I got a kid that's in choir. I said, are they traveling yet? Oh, yeah, we're going everywhere. And, people love to talk about their families. And all I'm doing is I'm providing them an opportunity to be more comfortable. Now, let's move on from here because this becomes really important. And again, discard this if you don't like it. I've got their name, Joe Smith. I know where they live. I'm going to see if they're on social media. Why would I not? First of all, if I was buying a car now and I were paying 50, 60, 70,000, I want to know who KC Nix is. They put in KC Nix, they're going to get my social media, and now they can find out whether I really know what I'm doing or whether I don't. I probably posted in there that I started a new job at the dealership 1 week ago. They're going like, I don't want to deal with that guy. Or I could post that I've been in the industry for over 30 years. And so why would they not research me? If they don't, I don't understand that. You're about to spend a giant sum of money and you don't want to know who you're dealing with? There's some other avenues that they could approach. Talk about that maybe later. But I want to find out. So this Smith character, turns out that he is the principal at the local elementary school. Well, first of all, it's an honor to be able to even try to sell him a car for the time and effort he's put into our youth, because that's not an easy job. And so now I've found that out, and I can decide whether I want to use that information or not, but I'm probably going to introduce myself when they show up, and I'm going to say, just help me out. You're the principal of the local elementary school. Is that not correct? Oh, yeah, I am. We're good. So all that stuff they told me way back in the day about building some kind of relationship or knowing more about the consumer other than what they're looking to buy, use a series of questions to do that, it's all on the internet right now. And if they didn't want somebody to know what was going on, they wouldn't be on social media. So I know that kind of seems creepy, but be careful what you say in your house to Alexa or Siri because they're paying attention. And so what I want to do is I want to become the most complete sales professional that I possibly can. And that means doing the best job I can for each individual customer because no customers are exactly the same as the last customer. So I can ask them if there's anybody else involved in the decision process. And I always dump this out there. And this is something that's worked for me for years. Is there going to be a trade? Or I can say it a different way because now they might want to hold the trade back. I might going to say, will anybody be coming with you and what will you be driving? And they say, I'm driving a Highlander. And I said, oh, fantastic. I'm driving a Saab. I'm driving a BMW. I'm driving a Mercedes. Okay, I don't know that we're the best bidder on a BMW. Let's look out at our inventory right now. Do we have any BMWs in our used car inventory? In most Toyota stores, the answer is no. So there's always going to be somebody out there, an appraiser out there, that'll give us a second bid on a BMW that might be better than what we're willing to put in that car since we don't normally inventory that car. That's a big deal. If I knew about that BMW, then I could come back and say, that's an interesting vehicle. We don't carry a whole lot of Highline vehicles. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a call and I'm going to have a couple of buyers alert that you're coming in, and we may even be able to get you more money for your vehicle than you were expecting. So what time are you coming in? Would before or after 4 o'clock be better for you? And so now the appointment's not for me. Now customers are late for appointments all the time. It's because I don't know. There's just no respect. I'm going to buy a car. I'll do it on my time. I told the guy 4 o'clock. I show up at 7. And it's happened to you multiple times because there's not a reason for them to be there at 4 o'clock. I've just now given them a reason that I'm going to alert a couple of buyers. I'll go directly to my used car director and I'll say, this is what I have. It's a BMW X1. We've never had one of these. Do you want to make a couple of phone calls? And the used car director is going to do everything they can to make sure the deal gets put together. There is so much more that we could talk about right now on the second phase of this Sales Line 1 Saturday morning meeting. But the more time and effort that you spend with the customer before they come in, the less time and effort you have to spend to deliver them a car. So there's no reason that after 2 or 3 contacts and sending a couple of information and make sure they got the information and need any clarification that they wouldn't know that you are the most complete person they've ever worked with before they bought a car from a total stranger. And the crazy thing about it is, I'm going to end with this. Listen to me real carefully. If they currently have a car and you did not sell them that car, then that last salesperson failed. PK52, the Saturday morning meeting.